Civilization is the quest for order on Earth. It is not merely about building pyramids or stacking stones. It is the struggle to decode the rhythm of chaotic nature and to predict the future. Every great civilization has grounded its existence in a calendar and in mathematics. Along the banks of the Euphrates and the Nile, societies developed basic calculations to overcome the challenges posed by their geography. But what happens when a civilization transcends geography and focuses on constructing the most abstract concept in the universe: time itself? What if, for them, a calendar is not just a cycle, but an infinite, interwoven cosmic web? Deep in the tropical forests, there was a civilization that built complex stone cities. In the harsh landscape of Central America, lacking the practical advantages known to old-world empires, they still managed to decode the rhythm of the cosmos. They did this by using a concept the Western world would only recognize centuries later: zero. We are exploring the ancient Maya. For the Maya, pyramids were not just altars to the gods. They were precise clocks built to measure time itself. This was a civilization that fused engineering with astronomy and turned calculation into a form of worship. In this episode, we focus on the concrete evidence of Maya genius. We will lay their knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering on the table, and reveal why it was centuries ahead of its time. Most ancient civilizations used cumbersome number systems that made even simple arithmetic difficult. Rome's letter-based numerals and Egypt's symbol-heavy system struggled with large-scale or abstract calculations. Babylon's base 60 system was advanced, but it lacked a true zero as a positional placeholder. By the 4th century CE, however, the Maya not only understood the concept of zero, they placed it at the very foundation of a positional notation system. Developed independently of Indian and Arabic mathematicians, this stands as one of the greatest testaments to the human capacity for abstract thought. The Maya number system was vigesimal, base 20. Values from 1 to 19 were represented by dots and bars, and 20 signaled a shift to the next positional level. Just as our decimal system moves from 9 to 10, theirs moved to the next power of 20. But from the third position onward, the multiplication factor changed. Instead of 20, they multiplied by 18. The reason is profound. This system was designed specifically for calendar calculations. Zero was the key that made this system flawless. Represented by a shell or a stylized eye, zero was not merely nothingness. It was potential, a completed cycle, and a new beginning. By marking an empty position, zero allowed the value of a number to grow exponentially. This positional zero enabled the Maya to handle complex astronomical cycles and massive numbers with ease, calculations reaching into hundreds of millions of days. This intellectual leap laid the groundwork for a level of precision that Egyptians or Romans could never have achieved. Many civilizations relied on a single calendar, usually focused on the sun or moon for agriculture. The Maya went far beyond that. They built 3 separate interlocking calendar systems. For them, time was not a straight line, but a cosmic clock of synchronized gears. First was the Tzolkin, a 260-day sacred ritual calendar. Formed by the interplay of 20-day names and 13 numbers, it determined the destiny of a newborn, the timing of rituals, and the rhythm of human life. Second was the Haab, almost identical to our 365-day solar year. It consisted of 18 months of 20 days, followed by 5 ominous days known as Uaib. The Haab governed agriculture, taxes, and festivals. These two calendars aligned every 52 years in an event called the calendar round. For the Maya, this was like a century, the end of an era and the birth of a new one, celebrated with grand ceremonies. But the most striking system was the long count. This linear calendar recorded the days elapsed since a fixed creation date, August 11th, 3114 BCE. It allowed inscriptions to be anchored precisely in history, showing that the Maya possessed a deep historical consciousness. The largest unit was the Uaxactún, a cycle of roughly 5,125 years. The famous 2012 prophecy was simply the completion of one such Uaxactún cycle. Maya pyramids were not merely religious structures. They were meticulously designed astronomical instruments. Their engineering genius lay in aligning stones with the stars. The Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza is the masterwork. Each face has 91 steps. Adding the top platform, the total is 365, matching the solar year. Most striking is what happens during the equinoxes. The angle of the sun casts a shadow that creates the illusion of a feathered serpent slithering down the steps. This optical phenomenon is tangible proof of how architecture and astronomy merged into a religious message. The observatory at Uaxactún is another marvel, perfectly aligned with the solstices and equinoxes. Constructing these buildings required far more than architectural talent. It demanded centuries of careful astronomical observation. Rulers used these structures to predict celestial events, proving to their people that they mirrored cosmic order on Earth. Maya astronomy was deeply pragmatic. For them, the sky was the abode of the gods, and Venus was the god of war. The Dresden Codex shows they calculated Venus's 584-day cycle with an error of only about 2 hours, an astonishing feat for naked eye observation. The implication is clear. The visibility of Venus determined the timing of wars and rituals. Astronomy was a political tool. By predicting the sky, rulers chose the most auspicious moments to strike and reinforced their divine authority. They didn't just want to know, they used knowledge as power. The Maya didn't just stack stones, they stacked time. Their cities were projections of cosmic cycles onto the earth. So why did such an advanced civilization abandon its great cities in the 9th century CE? Science points not to a single cause, but to a perfect storm. Deforestation, soil exhaustion, overpopulation, and failing infrastructure collided with prolonged droughts. Food shortages became inevitable. Environmental pressure triggered political chaos. Wars for resources intensified. When the priests and rulers failed to bring the rains and maintain cosmic order, the people's faith crumbled. They watched as an order built with mathematical precision collapsed in the face of nature's chaos. Maya science was about keeping pace with the rhythm of nature. But when that rhythm changed, their calculations could not save them. The answer may lie not just in climate data, but in their belief system itself. In our next episode,
we will turn to the darker side of this genius, the mystical universe of the Maya, the sky serpent Kukulkan, and the blood rituals that bound them to the cosmos. See you there.